Some people are saying that the WWE is falling off a bit, specifically WWE Smackdown. Well, let's talk about it. Rob, the wrestling old head. And there's been a lot of rumors around the internet that SmackDown, specifically, out of all of the WWE programming, is in a bit of a lull. And we're going to talk about if it is and if that's actually a cause for concern in the WWE. First of all, first and foremost, if they are going into a situation where there's creatively, they're in a slump, if you will, where I guess it's all stemming from, just so you know, if you haven't been paying attention, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, the Bloodline have basically been attacking them for about 3 weeks. It's been table spot, them standing over the broken, fallen bodies, and them posing, right? And people are like, rehash of the same old thing, and they're starting to, draw the ire, a little yawns, if you will, because they're a little tired of the same old, right? Now, creatively, I understand if you're seeing the same things over and over again, they're stretching it a little bit and it's becoming obvious, then that means they're getting you set up for a point where your interest is drawn back in, right? This is episodic television, probably 101, although I've never written for episodic television, and so I really have no idea other than what I have observed as a television viewer when I would watch TV shows, specifically my mom when she would watch soap operas. It's the same idea. You go through a large space of just the same old for a little bit, that they're gearing you up, they're putting all the pieces in a certain, formation here, and then they hit you with the bomb, right? And that's what I feel like we might be seeing specifically on WWE Smackdown, although a lot of people are getting on Raw as well. So, first of all, if I'm the WWE, I really wouldn't be worried. They're still doing great business. They're selling out shows. Social media impressions are up. And they are definitely circling the drain of creativity. They are definitely circling the drain creatively with their product. Let's just be honest. The situation with Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, it's got me doing mental gymnastics because I understand they're trying to find creative ways to do similar things week in and week out to stretch out the plot before the next story beat, which is where I feel like it is going to be at SummerSlam is the next chapter. To get to the end of the chapter, they've got to get you some, they've got to build it up a little bit, right? And the thing is, a lot of the people are not really feeling the Solo Sikoa new Bloodline for a couple of different reasons. One is because they're not buying Solo Sikoa as a effective leader of a stable like the Bloodline. On top of that, they are actually just not buying the fact that Solo Sikoa is a formidable opponent for Cody Rhodes. I understand both of those points. I think one is done by design. I think Solo Sikoa not being not buying into him as a leader, I think that is by design. I think they're trying to do that. They're trying to show you that he took the throne before he was even ready. And now he's bringing in a bunch of ragtag, like street hustle, like not WWE ready dudes to back him up, to keep his bloodline formed and him strong in the eyes of the beholders, in the audience of the WWE universe. That is until Roman Reigns shows up, right? So if what we're trying to do here is to get the overall feud is to get to Sikoa and the new Bloodline, or pivot to the Bloodline versus the Bloodline with the return of Roman Reigns, that's imminent right now. Although it could very well possibly be the return of Jimmy Uso we see at SummerSlam, okay? They really, really could hit us with that. And I think that most people should be prepared for that. If they are thinking that they're going to see Roman, maybe the WWE wants to hear a few more "We Want Roman" chants before they bring Roman Reigns out. You really need to think about that as well. Keep that in mind. We might see Jimmy Uso return and get the pop at SummerSlam before we see Roman Reigns. I mean, it's something that you could think about. I know it's the second biggest PLE event in the WWE, so you're more than likely going to see Roman Reigns, but I would not put it past the WWE to hold off just a little bit on Roman Reigns' return, because you still got a ways before you get to Survivor Series, where I feel like they're going to do War Games. So if the idea is to go from Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes and pivot to Bloodline versus Bloodline, I'm okay with that. That's fine. But what do they have for Cody Rhodes after this match? And I think that is where the interest is, or lack thereof, in SmackDown right now, is the lack of emotional interest in the Cody Rhodes title arc that he is in right now. It was all about finishing the story. It was all about that, and we were emotionally connected to him finishing his story arc. A lot of the story was dedicated to getting there, like Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. But what is more important is what is on the other side of that championship victory. And it seems we got AJ Styles. We got a couple of good matches with AJ Styles. We got a good match with Logan Paul. So we got the workhorse type of title run there. And now we have a similar outline to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, albeit a little lower in the interest department with Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline against Cody Rhodes. So what is on the other side of that? Because when Cody breaks off from that and the Bloodline go against the Bloodline, and you get that supposed civil war that we all kind of see the writing on the wall, they're telegraphing this for us in plain sight. Cody needs to have a ready-made program on the other side of this to keep the interest in him being the champion. I would have said Karrion Kross would have been perfect. I'm a big fan of Killer Kross. I love his promos that don't get a lot of airtime. You usually have to go digging on YouTube to find him. I've done videos on Karrion Kross. I'm a big fan. I think if they would have positioned him in a role on SmackDown, that would have been a perfect foil for Cody Rhodes. I think it would have worked really, really well. But since you don't have that, and it doesn't seem like you can have that, you need to go to something like a Randy Orton, which a lot of people have been begging for. I myself would like to see it as well, but done right. I don't want them to rush it. I want it to be set up effectively, because if they're going to go with Randy Orton in seemingly everywhere that he's been on PLEs all over the world, he increases the decibel level in buildings. Okay? They've got the meter, and it's going all the way to the max, damn near. He's over is what I'm getting at. So if you're going to turn him, just like Cody Rhodes has alluded to, just like I've alluded to in other videos, you need to make him hated, or you risk dividing the crowd, splitting the crowd, half going, we want Randy, let's go Cody. You don't want to do that to Cody Rhodes, because he's already on the cusp of getting booed. It's like everybody is expecting it, myself included. And I really don't want to see it, but it's like something that is coming. Eventually, if they keep this up, fans are going to grow tired of, well, what do you want to talk about? And it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but in the story arc of a hero, it's just like in The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you live long enough to be a villain. And I really don't want to see Cody Rhodes live long enough to be the villain in the story. I really want him to get his championship story arc where he's loved by all. But it might not be possible. So if you turn Randy Orton, it's got to be effective. We've got to hate his guts. I think he's got to punt Mama Rhodes. He has got to go full scorch earth heel, the one that Cody Rhodes talks about in his interviews, in order for this to work. But that's what Cody needs on the other side of this. He needs a program with Randy Orton, and then he needs a program with The Rock. A true program with The Rock. And I think he needs both to cement his championship legacy for this run. These two final bosses, if you will, legends. And he's got to beat them both. He's got to. And I don't mean The Rock could win a match. He could win a match, take the championship, hold it for a while, But at the end of their program, Cody's got to stand on the top of the mountain. To be in the pantheon of champions for Cody Rhodes, he needs to beat and dethrone these legends, Randy Orton and The Rock. Very similar to what Daniel Bryan did after SummerSlam 2013, I believe it was, when he beat John Cena in that classic match where Triple H was a special referee and then Randy Orton came out. And then from the end of the summer all the way to March and April, we chanted for yes, we wanted to see Daniel Bryan win. Guess what he had to do in order to go through and become the champion? He had to wrestle a singles match against Triple H, and then he had to battle Batista and Randy Orton that same night. They put him through the ringer. And I think at the end of that, he looked more credible. He was beat to hell and he was injured, but he looked more credible as a world champion because he beat these legends. He beat all of Legacy. It was like Super Mario World. And that's what we saw with Cody Rhodes. As he finished the story, it was like Super Mario World, for crying out loud. If I had the time, I would do it. I would interpolate Super Mario's ending theme with Cody Rhodes' victory celebration after the end, or at the end of WrestleMania 40, because that's what it was. But on the other side of that, now he's got to handle the bigger threats. He thought he handled the biggest, but there's more around the corner, and that's what we need. We've gotten the great matches with AJ Styles and Logan Paul, but now they need to pivot, and they need to give him some quality opponents. And I'm not saying that because I'm not saying that Logan Paul and AJ Styles aren't quality, but what I mean by quality is some opponents that we really believe Cody might not walk out of there as the champion. Everything that we think about for Cody Rhodes being a champion is out the window because he might not walk out of there as the champion against these guys, and that's what you need. So I think Cody needs The Rock and Randy Orton, and I think he needs to come out of those matches as the champion, and then that really cements his championship reign. And then I think at that point, most people won't be looking at WWE Smackdown as it's such a lull, but they've got to keep interest. So right now they're just kind of cruising. They're not hitting an iceberg at all, in my opinion. They're cruising. They're in cruise control. And we are programmed because we were on such a ride for WrestleMania and the build up to WrestleMania in January going all the way into April. We were like so geared up for everything. Everything was a huge moment, and the dust is settling from that. And then after SummerSlam, the idea is probably going to be to push more momentum going into Survivor Series, and then push another gear through the Royal Rumble, and then finally hit its peak at WrestleMania, and then the smoke settles. And I like that format. Quite frankly, I like that format. You can't go hard. Look, I didn't want to bring this up, but I'm going to bring this up. You can't go hard if you don't have a whole lot to worry about in the ratings, in fan attendance, in social media presence. You don't have a whole lot to worry about, so there's really no need to go hard week in and week out. All you need to do is to get us to care about these characters, put things in front of them for the week, and then get us to the next week. And I think they'll be fine. I trust the process. And you should trust the process as well, because history has shown that they're going to do something that's going to please us. At the end of the day, it's in the details, and the payoff is going to make it all worth it. And as long as they do that, we shouldn't be worried about it. So that's what I think. But what do you guys think? Do you think SmackDown is in a lull period? Do you think Cody Rhodes should pivot from this new Bloodline battle and go into a feud with Randy Orton and The Rock? Or who do you think would be better suited for a feud with Cody Rhodes on the other side of this match with Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam? You guys let me know in the comments. Thumbs up on the way out. You guys hit the notifications bell to be up to date on all of the news and opinions from Rob, the Wrestling Old Head. That would be me. And keep up to date on all of the new information that's going to be coming in regarding to this channel in the future, because we're moving fast, you guys, and you're along for the ride, and I thank you for that. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling. Wrestling fans, stay tuned for more.